If you would all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to introduce Pat Lazovich. He's going to do our opening prayer.
Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Chief Hunter asked me if I would come and pray, and she's part of our fellowship, but you know, for me it's a privilege to be able to just be part of what first responders in our communities are doing. Ever since 9/11, I've really had a burden to encourage however I can personally first responders in different communities, and it's a privilege for me to just be here to open this in prayer. Would you pray with me? God, we thank you for the men and women serving this community. Lord, we thank you that they've chosen to give of themselves so that we can be safe, so we can be protected. So we ask that you would keep them safe, that you would protect them, that you would bless them with wisdom, that you would encourage them. And today, Lord, as they go through this badge pinning, that it would be a time for them that they could draw on in those difficult times, in those hard times. I pray that you would bless their families, and we thank you for their families allowing them to give to us. And we thank you for Chief Hunter, Lord. We pray that you would give her that wisdom that she needs, that you would bless her. And we just pray today that you would be part of this and that you would bless this time. And I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
My name is Debbie Stoner. I'm the board chair for the Palominas Fire District. I have the great honor to introduce to you one of the most courageous people that I know. She has stepped up in Palominas' time of need. Let me introduce Chief Sherry Hunter. Chief, have you picked someone to do your badge pinning?
I'd like to ask my daughters, Stephanie, Michelle, and Christine, to pin me today.
Ouch! I'm sorry, I had
Now it's your turn.
Thank you, folks. Thank you for joining us today. This is a really big opportunity for our fire district and a great opportunity for the community in that you get a chance to see them all at one time. I've been blessed today to have some very, very dear speakers that have been with me through I became intern chief and helped me with this road I've been walking in. I wanted to take a moment and introduce each one of them to you briefly while they have something that they'd like to share. But folks, each one of these folks, I can't say enough about them. They've all, it's their job to do their job, but to do it as well with as much heart as each one of them has done it has made Palominas better. So I'd first like to introduce to you Mike Evans, County Emergency Manager. And Mike, would you like to?
My name is Mike Evans. Like she said, I'm the County Emergency Services Coordinator, the Emergency Manager for the county. And I enjoy a unique relationship with every fire chief and every police chief within Cochise County and some of the external counties. Chief Joe from Sonoyta is a close ally of Cochise County. I have to say that Sherry and I share a bond that I hope I never get to share with anybody else in this county, and that was the Monument Fire and the devastation that we both went through those first couple of days, the Monument Fire and then on into Sunday. we became very, very close those first couple of days out there on that fire, and we spent a lot of time sitting and talking about what we can do, what we should do, and how we should react to some of the devastation that was going on in her fire district and in the county. But Sherry was a real trooper, and the firefighters here were a real trooper, as was everybody else. But I want to talk to the families of all these folks standing here in the back, these men and women standing in the back. To you, I want to say thank you. It's the volunteer firefighters, and almost all of our fire departments in Cochise County are volunteer fire departments. And I just want to say thank you to the families for supporting your loved ones, allowing them to come out and do this, to allow them to go out in the middle of the night and do what they need to do. You're the ones that are going to be sitting at home wondering what's going on out there. You're the ones that are going to be sitting out there wondering if your loved ones are safe. Believe me, with the training they're getting beforehand and throughout their career here, they're going to get good training, they're in good hands, and they're going to be safe. But once again, I just want to say to the families here, thank you so much for supporting your loved ones, to allow them to come out and work for this fire department and be a volunteer here and do really good things for the Palominas Fire District. Thank you very much.
Another gentleman that I had the opportunity to meet actually just passed the fire, but has been probably somebody I'd like to call my sound counsel, somebody I could depend on, is Jerry Gonzalez.
Good morning. I'm really excited to be here today to be part of this historic event where we're the official installation of Chief Hunter, the first woman chief for this district. Let me tell you a little bit about how I work with Sherry. You know, this summer we had the wildfires that swept through this valley. And at that point, it was really critical that all federal agencies and local agencies work together in ways that we hadn't worked before. It was an emergency situation. And as a district conservationist for this area, I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of people all over the county. And all of a sudden we were here at the Monument Fire. We needed to get all of our assets put together and a lot of coordination and all that. And I met Sherry Hunter then. It was easy to see that Sherry was a very dedicated public servant. She has a lot of heart. She worked well immediately with all the teams we had on the ground to implement all of our fire recovery efforts. There was no time that I could pick up the phone and call her where she wasn't ready. And she worked early, she worked late, never dropped the ball. We did a lot of assessments. We visited over 100 home sites, and she was there. She went beyond what she needed to do. And it was really a pleasure to work with her. And she impressed not only me, but some of my other federal colleagues, members of the Forest Service, the law enforcement community. She was there. And, you know, I want to congratulate this community because I saw what Sherry has done. And I saw what kind of heart she has and what she endured to get to this point. Not only working hard, but what she went through in this community to get to this point. And it's really gratifying to know that the community finally made the right choice. I think you got the right person for the job. I think with this person, this community is in good hands. This community has the assets, and she will respond 24 hours a day. I look forward to continue working with her as we keep implementing our recovery efforts and get ready for the next waves of fires that need to come in. It's a pleasure to work with a person like Sherry. So thank you all for selecting Chief Hunter for this position. I think you're in good hands.
One of the next speakers, the next speaker I have, one of our speakers, is somebody I had a chance to meet as I was just becoming a firefighter. And one day when we were traveling to a chief's meeting, I started realizing one of my first conversations with him was, we were joking about it. I was not really knowing how to say it, but it was like, this is a Halligan and this is a fire hose, right? Because he was a part of the college and part of the fire science class and very instrumental in seeing that go through and very instrumental in me becoming a new firefighter. one of the first things I could say is his department's always impressed me with their professionalism, which I want to point out today as an example standing right here. This gentleman has been there for me as a leader, as an example, as a friend. But folks, I'd like to introduce to you Chief Randy Redmond.
Sherry, thank you very much for having me today. Thank you for being honored to be here. And obviously, my presence is easy. I don't know how you guys are doing. Good job. Thank you. As Sherry said, we have been friends a long time. I met Sherry back when she had started to believe that the fire service might be for her, and she went through the college program. The program's now about a dozen years old, and Sherry was one of the first people that went through that program. After she was done, her passion remained. She wanted to come help. She came to class and helped out, and eventually became a part-time instructor for us and went on to help others become firefighters in this county. And during this last couple of years, Sherry and I have got closer as the times have gotten more difficult, and she has moved through this process in a very difficult time, as I am so proud of how you've done that. The Sierra Vista Fire Department is always here for you, as we are for any community that needs us. We work very closely with Fry, and we work closely with Palominas, and we want to remain as a partner with everybody. All the faces in back, I see them in our station working, training. You have a great group of firefighters, and I think things will just get better and better. Sherry, you have something to be very proud of. Congratulations on a job well done, and keep it up. Thank you.
You know, you grow up in Cochise County, you hear names, you see names, you vote for people. And I have to tell you, I've had an opportunity to meet some of those names on the ballot. And I'm proud to be a Republican, I'm proud to be an American. But I have to tell you, when I had the first chance to meet Pat Call, I was a little bit surprised because I met him on the Monument Fire also. I also saw him again in the middle of a rainstorm. I was standing out there with my slicker on, and we were getting drenched. And we were watching where the water was flowing. We were trying to figure out what we could do, and both figured out you can't stop the rain. That's where Jerry Gonzalez comes in, him and his expertise trying to reroute it uphill, and the carpet and the slicker and all the other stuff I've learned from you, Jerry. But Pat Call was very involved with our community, and I was very touched about that. And because he was involved with that, I mean, sometimes you wonder who that guy was driving down, and then out pops Pat Call. He cares about our community. And because of that, I was very impressed, and I asked him to be a speaker today as well. Pat?
Sherry's tearing up and she's making me tear up. I'm sorry. Been an interesting morning, actually. A friend of ours, there's a death this week, and we were at a funeral this morning, and that was tough, and now she's up here tearing up, and she's just making me do it. Anyway, thank you so much for having me here this morning. And one of the things I was thinking of as I was driving here on the way down from the funeral in Cedar Vista was that as you go through this community, it's just amazing the amount of growth that's happened here. It's just significant. If you go back 25 years, I think there was a couple years there when the population doubled in Palominas. I think it was 800 people, and next thing we knew, it was 1,600 people. And while there's no question that 800 people aren't a lot, but when you double that, that's a whole lot. There's just a great many more homes in the area. There's a great many more people. There's a great many more people with ideas and opinions. And what we're really facing out here is a lot of change. And that change is inevitable. And in fact, it's probably good, but it always brings challenges with it. I think that as we move forward, that what most of us have a hard time dealing with is change. But again, that's something that we just all have to deal with. As other people have mentioned, I got to know Sherry during the Monument Fire. I got to learn about her energy, her tireless efforts, her commitment to this community, and her dedication. And was obviously very impressed, not just during the fire, but again, as mentioned before, Sherry's work in the cleanup when the rains started. What she did there was great. I would get regular calls from Sherry saying that we need more sandbags at this fire station, we need more sand over here, we've got a flood over here, what can you do, those sorts of things. And I was more than happy to help out. But it didn't take long before Sherry was going right past me, right through to the director of our highways department. Sherry started really getting to know how the system worked and how to make it work better. And I think one of the things that Sherry somehow knows innately is some time ago, somebody introduced me to the idea of leadership through partnerships. And in this day and age, regardless of how good your idea is or how dedicated you are or whatever, you just don't get things done by yourself. Either it's friends or it's family or it's colleagues, co-workers, employees, strangers. If you can't create passion, you can't get them interested in your idea, then you're not going to go anywhere. We've all heard that term, there's no I in team. And I think in this day and age, that's more true than ever before. You need help. And Sherry understands the concept of moving things forward, providing leadership through partnerships. And that's very important. I think the other thing she understands too is someone who I've always admired said that it's amazing what you can get done if you don't have to take the credit. And I think Sherry's a good example of that. She shares that credit with everybody. I spoke about challenges. I think this fire department has had challenges. They've overcome them. And I think as we move into the future, the challenges that will be faced, I have all the confidence in the world, thanks to good leadership and a great team, that the challenges that they're going to face, they're not only going to overcome, but they're just going to excel at moving forward and create and turning those challenges into opportunities. And any opportunities that may come along, I think they're going to be mined thoroughly. I have to say that when I look at what's been accomplished in a very short period of time, that the future looks incredibly bright, and that thanks to a great team and great leadership, there's going to be great things to come. So again, on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, and there would have been more here, but duties were split up between funerals and such, I have to say thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you so much to your team, and thank you for including me today. Thanks.
Before I finish with my last speaker, I was gonna see if I could coax, if I could. Chief DeWolf has been there to help us through some trying times. For me, he's another great example of one of the many examples we have in Cochise County for the fire chiefs. And he's right next door. But you wouldn't know it. He acts like a brother or a friend or a neighbor. He's a true example for me as somebody that you can depend on. And I'll tell you, in this journey, you have to have some sound counsel. And I mean sound counsel. And with that said, I'd like to introduce Chief.
Thank you, Chief Hunter. Thank you all for showing up today. I started my journey with Palominas about a year ago, working with the Board of Directors, working with Chief Hunter, working with the community. And to stand here today and see what you all have achieved for our fire department, with the men and women in the back that are proud to serve you all, and with the leadership of the Board of Directors and with Chief Hunter, to the trials that you have all come through over this past fire season. It's amazing to not only become a new chief, but to become a new chief and have what was put in front of Chief Hunter. And that, for the support of this community, thank you, Chief Hunter. Thank you all.
This journey has given me the opportunity to meet some fabulous people. One person I had the opportunity to meet, I have to tell you, from the first time I ever met her, it wasn't any of this, hi, I'm so-and-so and I'm so-and-so. It was like we knew each other for a long time. And I was very not only impressed with her mannerisms and her example and what she's done for our community, but her as an individual. And folks, I want to point out to you today that everyone on the front row and everybody here, I want to say thank you very much for being here. But I want to tell you, I want to say thank you to you too, Gail. I know it was very difficult for you folks to cut time out of your schedule. I know for you it was extremely difficult. So I want to say thank you. I'd like to, folks, introduce to you your state representative, Gail Griffin.
Hi, I'm Gail Griffin. I'm your state senator for District 25. And District 25 is a huge area. It's all of Cochise County except for Sierra Vista and Fort Huachuca. It includes Nogales. It goes into Marana. It goes south of Casa Grande, and I have Tonopah, which is in Maricopa County. So I have portions of 5 counties. Partnerships, teams, that's everybody in this room, especially these guys in the blue shirts in the back. When there's a problem, they're here for you. I appreciate everybody coming today. The challenges that this particular area has had has been astronomical. Talking about the condition of the national forests and the treatment that some of our local law enforcement as well as forest firefighters have received, I think may have been ironed out. Had the forest been properly managed, we wouldn't have had the buildup fuels and the catastrophic fires that we have seen. So we hope at the state level to work hand in hand with, in more reasonable ways with the federal government to make a healthy environment. What we have lost, we've lost personal property, we've lost the forest, we've lost the habitat, we've lost the species. And that should never happen again. But with your help and the team that we have, especially these guys on the front row as well, thank you for holding hands and working together to get the job done. It's an honor to be here today, and we are here to listen to your issues as they come forward. Now that the fires are out, we have flooding problems, so we're working on that as well. But thank you, it's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Before I introduce the firefighters today, as I will be doing in just a moment, I wanted to point out to me personally how much it means to me that each and every one of you showed up and you came. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. I want to say thank you particularly to the Honor Guard and to a bagpiper that I've met today. I'm proud to stand here. I wanted to take a moment and introduce to you any board members that we have present, if you'd like to stand. Deborah Stoner, board member Tommy Stoner, and Roy Trachtenberg. I'd also like to take a second and explain something that I know that there's a lot of people that wanted to be here today that could not attend. I didn't realize how many folks wanted to come that couldn't attend until the last 24 hours, but one of our very own dispatchers is in the hospital holding on to life. I've got other folks under the knife right now that I know too, right now, in surgery. With the funeral that you've attended yesterday, and then I have another, the list is long right now and it breaks my heart, but that's why we're here. We're here to help. And if there's anything that we can do to help anybody through that, that's what we wanted to do. So this ceremony is going to be videotaped in case some of your friends could not attend for those reasons, folks. I want you to know it's available. And I want to make sure that we'll get it to you if you just let me know. And with that said, that's why my folks aren't here right now either. My dad had surgery as well. As your fire chief, sir, I'd like to introduce to you the Palominas Fire District firefighters. Isn't that an awesome group? Folks, you may be seated. At this time, I'm going to ask Mike Evans if you could come and be my assistant. I'm going to ask Brian Olson to step forward. Brian Olson, have you selected somebody to pin your badge today?
Yes, I have. I'd like to bring up Kevin Olson, my son, please.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
Thank you, Brian. Next, I'd like to introduce John Escapol. John, have you selected somebody to pin your badge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Tammy, would you step up?
Next is Kevin Nickel. Kevin, have you selected somebody to pin your badge?
Yes, ma'am. Be my wife, Debbie.
Next, I'd like to introduce Bruce Kroll. Bruce, have you selected somebody to pin your badge?
My wife, Jeremy, and my daughter, Kylie.
Next is Walter Webb. Walter, have you selected somebody to pin your badge?
Yes, ma'am. I have Anna Grubbs.
Next is Pete Chavez. Have you selected somebody to pin your badge, Pete?
Yes, ma'am. My mom, Maria Carbajal. And my son, Mario Chavez.
Next is Michael King. Michael, have you selected someone to pin your badge?
My fiance, Alicia Lewis.
Next is Casey Gregory. Casey, have you selected someone to pin your badge?
My dad, Floyd Gregory.
Mason Lackalade. Have you selected anybody to pin your badge?
My brother, Bronson.
just want to take a second on a side note. Firefighter Pete Chavez and Mason Lackalade's brothers are both firefighters. Firefighter Dominic Mia, have you selected someone to pin your badge?
Yes, ma'am, my wife Sandra.
Firefighter Jad Sara, have you selected someone to pin your badge?
Aldi Alvarez.
Firefighter Brett Schreiber, have you selected someone to pin your badge?
My mom, Kim.
Firefighter David Meredith, have you chosen somebody to pin your badge?
My grandfather, James Meredith.
Firefighter Chris Anthons, have you chosen someone to pin your badge?
Unfortunately, my family couldn't be here today, so I asked Bruce to step in for me.
Firefighter Tyler Hart, have you chosen someone to pin your badge?
Yes, my fiance Eden.
Firefighter Steven Schlotman, have you chosen someone to pin your badge?
Yes, ma'am. Jay Polcari?
Firefighter Bill Begoy, have you chosen somebody to pin your badge? I have to apologize. He's an awesome gentleman with a hard last name.
My friend Bruce.
Firefighter Darrell Good, have you chosen someone to pin your badge?
Yes, I would be honored for you, Chief Hunter, to pin my badge.
Firefighter Sarah De La Torre, have you chosen someone to pin your badge?
My grandpa, Gene Wilkinson.
Firefighter Amanda King, have you chosen someone to pin your badge?
I have my mother, Carly King.
I'm not quite sure how to introduce the remaining firefighter, except I'd like to say that I'm a big believer in patience, prayer, and results. With that said, I'd like to introduce to you my new battalion chief, Aldi Alvarez.
My son Aldivian and my mom Arbia.
Is this not an amazing group of firefighters? I want to thank each and every one of you for the support to help me honor these gentlemen and ladies. And I'm certain that we're going to move forward, but I wanted to point out Bruce Kroll has been the coordinator for the recruits and the volunteers. And I was going to say earlier that it's quite an honor to ask your instructor, your chief, or your leader to pin you. And then I almost couldn't hold it together when Darrell asked me. But folks, I want to say thank to each and every family member and to everybody that's here, all the way around. I very much appreciate you, gentlemen and ladies. Sir? Oh, wait, I just remembered something. If I'm given that one error, this is it. Gil Griffin?
Congratulations and thank you for your service, all of you. And thank you, families and friends, for sharing your loved ones with this community. I'd like to read the fireman's prayer. It's a modified prayer. When I am called to duty, Lord, wherever flames may range, give me strength to save some life, whatever be the age. Help to embrace the little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently put the fire out. I want to fill my calling and to give the best of me, to guard my every neighbor and protect their property. And Lord, if it is your will that I go up to heaven's gate, please bless and protect my family as they accept my fate. Thank you for being here.